All right, it's 7:30. I will call this October 19th School Board Business Meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
Okay.
Motion by Meisner, seconded by Adam. All right, now we have Spotlight on Recognition. Dr. Heil.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice Chair Stark and school board members. It's with pleasure this evening that I share the Employee of the Month for September and Employee of the Month for October. So Katie Brown is our Employee of the Month for September of 2021. Katie is actually a 2014 graduate of Fridley High School and has been working at Fridley Community Center for over 3 years. And she is the secretary to the principal and a director of finance and operations. Katie is the backbone of the community center and a kind and consistent presence for students, staff, parents, and community members. She has molded the position into one that serves each person she sees with the humanity and dignity that they deserve. Katie also goes out of her way to hone her own equity and inclusion skills so that she serves each person in the ways that they need. She serves as an example to all in the way she offers unwavering care and compassion to everyone she comes in contact with. Katie has led the preschool team through our first month of school and assisted the enrollment center with grace, kindness, and encouragement, as well as patience. She takes initiative, makes sure all appropriate players are in the room, and cares deeply for her students with enthusiasm. Balancing all elements of the preschool and operations secretary position is not an easy feat, but Katie does it all and more. And that was written by Lena Danke and Stephen Killer. Our next one, representing our community center as well, our October Fridley Public Schools Employee of the Month is Cammie Herder. She's a shining example of Fridley Public Schools employee who embodies the IB learner profile. In all that she does, Cammie works for the heart and strives to provide the best instruction and care for all the children in her program. Cammie is a parent and a current and former Fridley students who is passionate about the Fridley community. As a parent, Cammie was highly involved in Fridley Public Schools, and all 5 of her children have walked the hallways of our schools at some time. In her current role as a preschool child care program manager, Cammie is reflective and insightful in all of her conversation with parents. She is principled, and she shows a deep commitment to integrity in her work with her parents, colleagues, students, and staff. Her knowledge of child development and behavior equals any teacher, and her depth of caring knows no end. During the pandemic shutdown, Carrie didn't bat an eye at providing critical care for our students and families and worked with great dedication to make the world feel a little bit safer and less chaotic for all in the critical child care. All last year, she partnered with our preschool IB teacher, and she started to develop a new way of providing instruction and care for our youngest learners that help make their day be the best it can be while they're at FCC. She continues to deepen her understanding of IB and was a vital part of the preschool becoming an IB authorized as we offer IB within our child care setting. That was written by Karen Beckstrand and Stephen Killer.
Wonderful. Now we have Tim Yoakum and Anna Nordine for a preview of Seussical the Musical.
I've been guarding this clover for over a week. I'm getting laughed at for thinking a dust speck can speak. Well, let them all laugh. I'll try not to mind, for I have found something that they'll never find. There are secrets on a leaf, in the water, in the air, in planets, tiny worlds, all invisible. One person seems to know, not a person seems to care. There's no one who believes the thing I say. Well, I'm fairly certain, at one time or other, great thinkers all feel this way. I'm alone in the universe, so all alone in the universe. I found magic, but they won't see it. They all call me a lunatic. Okay, call me a lunatic. If I stand on my own, so be it. 'Cause I have wings, yes, I can fly around the moon and far beyond the sky. And one day soon, I know there you'll be. One small voice in the universe, one true friend in the universe, who believes in me.
I'm alone in the universe, so alone in the universe. My own planets and stars are glowing.
Alone in the universe.
No one notices anything. Not one person is listening. They don't have any way of knowing.
Nobody knows that I have wings. Yes, I can fly.
I can fly
around the moon and far beyond the sky. Well, someday soon you will hear my plea. One small voice in the universe,
one true friend in the universe.
please believe in me. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Who's there?
It's me, Jojo, the mayor's son.
I'm Horton, the elephant.
Are you real? Or are you a very large thing?
Oh, I'm real, all right. I would state that in ink.
In my things, I imagine a lot of strange things. And I go to strange places, as if I had wings. I love a good think.
Well, for me, that goes double.
Sometimes my thinks would get me in trouble.
When you think, do you dream?
In bright colors!
Me too. I go to strange places like Seussical.
When you think, do you think you could fly to the stars?
Oh, little friend, no one else could have thinks such as ours. Yes, I have wings. And I can fly.
I can
And far beyond the sky. You called my name and you set me free. One small voice in the universe,
one true friend in the universe.
who believes in me. Good night, Jojo.
Good night, Horton. See you in Seussical.
That was wonderful. Thank you. I had lots of baby kicks during that song, so I feel like that's a really good endorsement for the play. That was wonderful. Thank you. Now we have superintendent and staff reports, Ms. McLemore and Ms. Reisler.
I think you're supposed to stand here, right? Okay. Board Vice Chair Stark, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Heil. I was thinking when I was standing there, if I could sing the introduction to this video, I will try, but I don't think I will sound as good as Tim or Anna. So tonight we are going to share with our community a referendum video that we have prepared to share information with our community members about a ballot question that the district has on the November 2nd ballot. This referendum is to support our fifth graders move to the elementary school, something that our parents have been asking for for a long time. And the move will require us to place a levy on the ballot so that we can construct the classrooms and additional space to ensure that our students have adequate spaces for learning when this is actually implemented, maybe a couple of years from now. So we will watch the video. And I also want to add that for community members who are watching, you will see some numbers in regards to tax impact. We have created a website on our district website that has a tax calculator. So if you don't see your property value represented there, you can visit us online and put in your property tax and then calculate how much this will impact your taxes should it pass on November. So once we watch it, I can answer any questions that board members may have. Is it on?
Welcome to Fridley Public Schools, an international baccalaureate world schools district, Minnesota's first and only district to offer the full IB continuum from preschool through high school. Our school district has 2 elementary schools that are kindergarten through grade 4. Currently, our 10-year-old 5th graders attend Fridley Middle School. To support the academic and social-emotional growth of our young learners, Fridley Public Schools is proposing a K-5 grade span change for its elementary schools. In the last few years, parents have requested an elementary grade span change that would give our 10-year-old students an additional year of developmental growth. In order to implement this grade span change, the district will need to build 4 additional classrooms at each elementary school, expand communal spaces such as cafeterias, and expand restrooms. In a survey conducted this past spring, more than 80% of elementary school parents support this change. The plan would give 10-year-old students an additional year of growth at their elementary schools. This grade span change would allow students with similar maturity and development levels to stay and learn together in a setting they are familiar with. The grade span change would also provide an extra year of social and emotional development before joining older students at the middle school. The cost of the bond levy to a Fridley home valued at $250,000 would be $28 per year. For less than $3 per month, the levy would provide $11 million for the implementation of this grade span change. In a recent survey, our Fridley community said public schools are a good investment in the future of our community's children. Strong community support for schools leads to more successful outcomes for students. Strong schools are an important part of a strong community. Whether by absentee, early ballot, or in-person voting, please remember to vote.
I think we have shared information with our community members. We have sent literature to our district residents with information. And we understand that people may have questions, so please feel free to reach out to us, reach out to any of our board members. We are happy to answer that. There's an additional information that will be coming to our community members just based on some of the questions that we have been getting. Some of our community members may have missed a community forum that we held on October 7. So some of the questions and answers that we will be sending back to the community are derived from that, because we understand that it was just a small representation. There may be other members in the community that have those similar questions. So again, this is going to be coming to our residents perhaps next week, and we just encourage everyone to go out on November 2nd and vote. Questions? No?
Thank you. Now we have Dr. Bodie with the World's Best Workforce presentation.
Good evening, Vice Chair Stark, board members, and Superintendent Heil. Wanted to review the World's Best Workforce plan from this past school year. So this is the review of the World's Best Workforce report from the 2021 school year. Just a quick review of what the World's Best Workforce Plan is. It's based on Minnesota statute, and it's a tool for school districts to plan and to improve our teaching and learning of our students. It serves pre-K through high school, and it's focused on the 5 statewide goals. First one there is all students ready for kindergarten, so we don't just start our work when kindergarten one comes around. We start well before that. We want our students to read well by 3rd grade. We want to close achievement gaps. We want all of our students to be career and college ready by graduation, and ultimately all of our students to graduate. Prior to showing any data, I just wanted to acknowledge the recent history. I know we all know what's happened over the last 18 to 20 months, but it's appropriate to have the right lens on this data and right filter on this based on what has happened. We've seen exponential learning disruptions for students and scholars. They lost out on educational opportunities, and not just educational, but social and emotional growth opportunities. We've had kind of inconsistent and lower participation rates for our standardized tests, so some of the data is skewed because of that. And then our testing environments also, and the ability to prepare for assessments like we would typically do was not easily done, and was certainly disrupted and inconsistent. And we've really focused our attention this fall on returning to relationships and prioritizing our scholars' social, emotional, identity needs right away. So quick results of the World's Best Workforce. So each of the areas has a goal. And the goal for all students ready for kindergarten was to look at letter naming, our letter naming assessment. And our goal was to reach 80% in the spring of 2021, and we did reach 92.9%. That data is actually pretty good because our preschool students were with us in person for a good majority of last year, and we were able to do a lot of the assessments with them in person. So I'm feeling pretty confident about that score. The second area is reading well by 3rd grade. We'd like to see them reach the 55th percentile. That's the best benchmark we've come up with to be able to predict success on the MCA assessment at the end of the school year. We were aiming for 55% of our students. Again, through the disruption of COVID, we reached 36%. However, again, there was disruptions to the testing environment. The third goal is around closing the achievement gap. For reading and math, there's 2 different measures here. In both situations, though, we are looking at closing the gap between our free and reduced lunch student population and our non-free and reduced lunch student population. And as you can see, the percentages there for those 2 groups, and we're looking to shrink that gap. So for reading, we wanted to decrease it to 20.5%, and for math, 21.5%. And we shrank it to 14.9% and 14.6% respectively. Data looks good, but again, we had some varying rates of participation. Fourth goal is all students college career ready. We're looking at the ACT assessment and the reading benchmark score. Wanted to increase that to 35% by 2021. We got to 30.5%, so we're making some progress there. And the final goal, there we go, is that all students graduate. Our goal is to get to 87% by 2021. Currently, the data for 2021 isn't out yet. It should be out by mid-November. But if we go back and review, you can see the comparison from the statewide on the left to the Fridley Public Schools on the right. We are keeping up with or outpacing the state in the recent years with our graduation rates. So that's also great news. And that is the update. Thank you.
Thank you. Good information. Every month we're lucky enough to receive gifts from the community, so we have a resolution for accepting gifts, whereas School Board Policy 706 establishes guidelines for acceptance of gifts to the district, and whereas Minnesota Statute 465.03 states the school board may accept a gift, grant, or device of real or personal property only by the adoption of a resolution approved by 2/3 of its members. Therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Fridley Public Schools accepts with the appreciation the following gifts received by the school district. The following persons donated to Stevenson Elementary for a total of $357.10, Presbyterian Church of the Way, and Christopher Breitbach. The following persons donated to Hayes Elementary for a total of $8.40. The Giving Fund. Do I have a motion and a second to accept the gifts and thank the donors for their contributions?
So moved.
Motion by Carnop, second, was that
Second.
Meisner?
Yep.
Okay, and roll call, Mr. Adam,
Aye.
Mr. Carnop,
Aye.
Mr. Meisner,
Aye.
Stark is aye, Ms. Thornton,
Aye.
motion passes. And now we have a Anoka County Elections Joint Power Agreement, Dr. Heil.
Thank you, Vice Chair Stark and school board members. This evening, we're asking for the board to approve the joint powers agreement with Anoka County for elections. This joint powers agreement will be for January 1st of 2022 through December 31st of 2025. And we'll have Anoka County run the election processes for our district elections.
Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion moved.
Motion by Adam,
Second.
second by Carnop. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Now we have second reading and adoption of policies. Ms. Seifert Hertling.
Good evening, school board, Vice Chair Stark, board members, and Superintendent Heil. Tonight I have second readings of 4 policies. Policy 501 is the school weapons policy. There has been a few changes in the definitions in regard to this policy from the work session that we had. So those changes have been made for the second reading. And then there was a small change to Policy 502 for approved searches. There was just a very small language change as we discussed in the work session. And in Policy 503, which is student attendance, and Policy 504, which is student dress and appearance, there were no changes since the first reading.
Wonderful. And Dr. Bodie?
Good evening, Vice Board Chair Stark, board members, and Superintendent Heil. I am here for a second reading of Policy 602, the organization of school calendar and school day. And really the largest change here, no changes since the first reading, but the change was regarding e-learning days and adding that section 5 to that. And e-learning day is a day we may call for inclement weather, so students can continue to learn at home on an inclement weather day, using up to 5 of those a day, and they would be counted as a regular instructional day.
Wonderful, thank you. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Meisner, second by Thornton. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Now we have the approval of the consent agenda of routine action items, including minutes of the school board meeting and the work session held on September 21st, 2021, and the work session held on October 5th, 2021, monthly financial reports and new contracts, amendments, lien changes, leaves of absences, terminations, resignations, and retirements, statewide health improvement program grant, World's Best Workforce Plan of 2021-22, and memorandum of agreement for special ed billable time. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Carnop, second by Adam. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And now, first reading of policies. Dr. Heil.
Thank you. This evening, we'd like to share the first reading of Policy 510 on school activities. Basically, under general statement of policy, we're removing the wording that school activities are of secondary importance in relationship to the formal instructional program, and to change that wording to they complement the instructional program in providing students with additional opportunities for growth and development. Thank you.
Policy 505, Ms. McLemore. And 512.
510. 505.
I have 505 and
505.
5. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I have to. Okay. Vice Chair Stark, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Heil. Today I present 2 school board policies for first reading. The first one is Policy 505, distribution of materials on school property or at school events. The purpose of this policy is to establish guidelines for the distribution of non-school sponsored materials on school property or at school events by students or employees. So one of the changes that we have made is change the title of this policy to reflect that. The old one did not include non-school sponsored when it described materials, so we have added that in there by students and employees too. We also have a twin, if you can call it a twin policy, 904, that describes distribution of materials by non-school staff. So we want to make sure that differentiation is clear. And one of the major changes that we have added to this policy is as we implemented digital flyer management system called Peachjar since this policy was last amended. So we wanted to include that information in there because that's just another way for students or staff or even community members to request for school district administrators to give them permission to share information with families or with staff or with students. So we have included that information in there, as well as using staff mailboxes, student email addresses, and staff email addresses as well. And we've just cleaned up some language to make sure that the grammar is consistent with what we are revising in these policy changes to match MSBA's. The other one is Policy 512, which is school-sponsored student publications. And the purpose of this policy is to protect students' rights to free speech in the production of official school publications, while at the same time balancing the school administration's role in supervising student publications and managing the operations of the school district. So again, with distribution of materials, it has to fit the requirements that it will not be disruptive to the school and require extra work for staff to be able to distribute that. So again, with this one too, the major change in here is to include the additional distribution portals that we have, which is staff mailboxes, emails for staff, emails for students, and of course our Peachjar online flyer that we regularly share flyers and newsletters with families and students. So these are presented to you today for first reading.
Thank you. Now we have reports from school board members. Northeast Metro 916 met on October 6th. Not a lot to report, some first and second readings of policies, and then there was a closed session for negotiations. Important future school board dates. There is no school October 20th through the 22nd for conferences. EL Family Night, October 28th from 5 to 7 at Fridley Middle School. The Election Day, November 2, there's no school that day. Northeast Metro 916 meets November 3rd at 6 o'clock at the Bel Air School. The AMSD board meeting is November 5th at 7 a.m. at the Cora Education Center. There's no school for Evaluation Planning Day on November 12th. The next Fridley Public Schools board meeting is the 16th with the work session at 5:30 and the open forum at 7. The business meeting is at 7:30 here at the FCC. The Northwest Suburban Integration School District Joint Powers Board meeting is November 17th at 6:15 at the district office. There's no school for Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving, November 25th through 26th. And there is a Truth and Taxation Public Forum December 21st at 7 p.m. That wraps it up. Do we have a motion and a second to adjourn?
Motion move to adjourn.
Motion by Adam, second by Meisner. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.